This continues from Great American Ballpark. The opening game of a 3-game weekend series between the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everybody, alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. And finally, Cowboy, finally, that first win of the season yesterday.
Well, it was awfully nice to watch Bronson Arroyo go out and basically have an instant replay of what he was doing last year. And you speak of instant replays, how would you like to have a Johnny Gomes instant replay every night?
Let's take a look at it in the 9th inning. Johnny Gomes in a 1-1 game, and just like that, one mighty crack of the bat, sending the Reds home winners by a final count of 2-1. And naturally, Johnny even excited at the ballpark today.
It was exciting, but it's hard to say in this game. It's already yesterday. We're going to come to town, and more league games. We got to win as many league games as we can. And that was a good win yesterday. We all threw a little party at home plate, brought the guys together early in the season. So we're going to try and see if we can make that roll.
And Jeff, as we talked about during the entire spring, the start of this year, the first 6 games here at home, you're right into the fire. The top 2 teams in the National League Central Division. Homer Bailey tonight.
Well, you would like to believe that the glass is half full when you talk about Homer Bailey, and the glass being half full the last part of last season. Last 9 starts out of the 20 starts that he had, he was terrific. Really throwing a lot of strikes, very confident in the strike zone, not only with the fastball and the cut fastball, but the split finger as well. And it really meant a lot to him to do that well at the end of the season.
Well, let's see if Homer Bailey can build on that late season success from 2009. We'll talk more about him and his mound opponent when we come back. The authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds. Each and every game, Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, presented in beautiful high definition, courtesy of H.H. Gray. Beautiful weather night, and for more details, the chief meteorologist from WKRC Television, here's Tim Hedrick.
Looks like a cool night down at the old ball yard. 52 degrees for that first pitch. 9 o'clock we'll be looking at 47. By 11 o'clock, about 44. Nice little northwesterly or west northwesterly wind at about 10 miles per hour. Now back to Reds Live.
Tim's ready to go. So too is Homer Bailey.
6-1 with a 1.7 earned run average, as good as anybody in the major leagues last year in his last 9 starts. Why? Because he had confidence. He threw strikes with all 4 pitches, the changeup, the split finger, the slider, the fastball on both sides. He's pitching like a guy who's been around for the last 7 or 8 years.
And the pitching matchup tonight is Homer Bailey against Carlos Silva. Silva came over from Seattle, where he was injured nearly all of last year, coming over in the Milton Bradley trade. So Bailey against Silva when we come back. All the action, the Reds and the Cubs from downtown Cincinnati in a moment. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks 33 straight years. By Just for Men, for mustache and beard, keep your edge. And by Skyline Chili. You know it's Skyline time when you get that craving for a Skyline 3-way or cheese Tony's. So we are set for baseball at Great American Ballpark. The Reds dropping 2 of their first 3 on the year against the reigning division champion St. Louis Cardinals. The Cubs come to town, like the Reds, losing their first 2 in Atlanta before getting a 2-0 win yesterday behind strong pitching from right-hander Randy Wells. Lou Piniella, the skipper, of course, of the 1990 wire-to-wire Reds World Championship team, celebrating the 20th anniversary of that club this season. He has Ryan Theriot leading off at shortstop. Bailey delivers strike 1, says Doug Eddings, a home plate umpire, and we're underway on this Friday night. Theriot hitless in 11 at-bats during the 3-game series in Atlanta. But we've seen him through the last handful of years. He's a good hitter. especially when he's hitting the ball the other way. 1-1. Terrio really the only stolen base threat in this entire Cub lineup. He hits the ball the other way, but Bruce is there for the running, juggling catch. One away. Let's take a look at Lou Pinella's batting order tonight. Following Terrio, the center fielder, the rookie Tyler Colvin. At first base, Derek Lee bats third. Aramis Ramirez in a cleanup spot at third. Xavier Nady his first start in right, with Alfonso Soriano in left. Mike Fontenot at second. Coy Hill catching. The right-hander Carlos Silva. Overall season numbers for Bailey last year: the 20 starts, the 8 wins. But as Jeff Brantley mentioned a moment ago, what a finish. His last 9 outings, an ERA of 1.70. Why the turnaround?
Confidence, pounding the strike zone. I think when you watch Homer Bailey now, he looks like a pitcher that has it all figured out. And I don't know that anybody ever has it all figured out, but he is having a good time.
Good off-speed pitch there at Colvin, way out in front. Colvin had a monster spring. I mean, really coming out of nowhere. He came up at the end of last year, played in a handful of games. He got the start last night in Atlanta and clubbed his first major league home run. And boy, did he hit it to the seats and right. 2-2.
You know, Tom, when you look at Bailey's spring training outings, he didn't have a whole lot of outings that were against the Brewers or the Cubs in spring training. He kind of stayed out of that and pitched in the minor league games whenever the big club played National League Central opponents.
Fastball away, and it's 3-2 on Colvin. Cubbies getting solo home runs by Colvin and Marlon Byrd in that 2-0 win last night in Atlanta. First time that Atlanta lost a 2-0 game on a pair of solo homers since 1979. Still 3-2. The Cubs in 07 and 08 National League Central Division champions. But then last year things did not go their way, slipping to second, but 7.5 games behind the division champion St. Louis Cardinals. And there's a 1-out walk. Good at bat by the rookie Colvin, and he's aboard for Derek Lee. The Reds stack him up defensively, presented by Ford. The hero yesterday, Gomes in left, Stubbs in center, again Jay Bruce in right. Same infield every game. Roland, Cabrera, Phillips, and Votto, with a battery of Bailey and Ramon Hernandez.
Reds had a couple of errors in yesterday's ball game on the left side of the infield with the veterans Cabrera and Roland. I don't think you'll see that too often.
Derek Lee looks at a fastball high for a ball. No, in fact, the opening day infield features 3 Gold Glove winners who have won the award a total of 10 times, including Roland, who has 7 Gold Gloves. Cabrera has 2. Brandon Phillips, of course, with the other. That ball drilled into right center field, a base hit. Over to cut it off is Stubbs, and the Cubs have him on the corners with only 1 out following the 1-out walk.
Bailey is up in the strike zone a little bit with his fastball, and you can see Hernandez set up down and away. The ball is in the middle, and it's about mid-thigh high, and with Derek Lee at the plate, that's not where you want the fastball.
And now with runners at first and third, here comes Aramis Ramirez, unquestionably the Cubs' best RBI man. 6 times over the last 9 years, Ramirez has knocked in 100 or more runs. Ramirez missed a pile of time last year over half the season when he injured his shoulder. But boy, when he's healthy, he's one of the better run producers in the entire National League.
Well, he will change his swing in order to get the run in or to stay out of a double play. He'll do whatever it takes to get that run across the board. Bailey right now needs to slow things down a little bit, get rid of some of that early jitters and adrenaline, and just get the ball down in the strike zone. He can get a double play here with one pitch.
1-0 on Aramis Ramirez. And in the dirt, what a block by Ramon Hernandez, not only preventing Colvin from scoring from third, but Lee advancing on to second.
It's tough to do this with a bum knee, but after the surgery he had last year, he is much quicker behind the plate, being able to move laterally to block the balls. But where we've seen it most importantly is the fact that he's been able to run and throw and drive the ball the other way with those legs.
2-0 fastball is high. So Bailey struggling early on with his command here in the opening inning.
Getting underneath the fastball, and that's usually caused by jumping towards home plate a little bit, and that's a lot of that adrenaline that you have on the first day jitters.
3-0 on Aramis Ramirez. Lee at first, Colvin at third, and the 3-0 green light for Aramis, and he fouls it back. Through the injury and all last season, when he had the chance with runners in scoring position, no one in Major League Baseball hit for a higher batting average than Aramis Ramirez. A stunning .425 average. That's doing it.
And that's why the Cubs suffered so much when he was out of the lineup.
Ball driven into right field. Bruce will run it down, but it's good enough to make it 1-0 Chicago as the man who walked Colvin scores the game's first run.
Well, if that doesn't illustrate the point that you made there, Tom, a 3-1 breaking ball, and a good one at that. And Aramis Ramirez stayed back. He'd already made up his mind he was going to drive the ball the other way, and that allows him to stay on the curveball and not roll over the top of it and hit into a double play. Has seen nothing but fastballs, and this is a pretty good breaking ball down in the strike zone, a 3-1 pitch, and he's still able to get it into the outfield and get the run home.
So a 2 down, Lee at first, and here's Xavier Nady. Only one at bat so far this year for Nady, coming off of Tommy John elbow surgery. Swing and a miss. Much was made when the Cubs signed Nady as a free agent, knowing that he wouldn't be fully recovered as far as throwing the ball is concerned from that surgically repaired elbow. And they had said all along during spring training he would only play left field. A shorter throw in the friendly confines, but here at Great American Ballpark, the dimensions are a little bit different. As the ball gets away from Votto, there goes Lee, and the throw down is not in time. So very sloppy there by Bailey and Votto.
Went right through Votto's glove. Evidently, the glove broke as he took the throw. We can watch the throw here. Watch it go right through his glove. Right through the glove. You can see Votto look down just for a moment. And that gives Derek Lee second base. Boy, that's a surprise right there. You see Lee coming back to the bag. Watch Votto look down just for a second, and he looks at his glove. Hey, where's the ball going?
So Joey waiting on a new mitt or that one to get fixed up quickly. That'll be an error charge to Votto. The Cubs did not hit at all down in Atlanta. It's a very good Chicago hitting team, but an even better Atlanta pitching team in that opening series. The Cubs were out hit 25-16. They were outscored 19-9. 0-1 to Nady. Oh, and to finish that thought on Nady, with right field having closer dimensions to the infield Then left and left center here at Great American Ballpark. Lou Piniella decides right field tonight will be okay for Nate. We'll see.
Well, he's just got to make sure that you get Fontenot out there in a hurry to cut the ball off and a ball in the gap.
Twenty pitches thus far in the inning for Homer Bailey. 11 of those out of the strike zone. Three and one.
You know, Tom, it doesn't matter how much you prepare for the adrenaline, how much you tell yourself to calm down when you get out there. That first start of the year, that heart is pumping like nothing else.
3-1 the count on Xavier Nady, and there's a swing and a foul ball over the screen. 93-mile-per-hour fastball there from Bailey, and it runs the count full.
Adrenaline is a great thing when you're running away from a bear, but it's not a real good thing when you're trying to slow down on the mound and throw a strike.
Have you ever run away from a bear?
No.
No?
I hope I don't ever have to.
Three and two on Nady. Lee at second, 2 away, and Bailey to the plate. And we'll do it again. Bailey, only 23 years old, out of LaGrange, Texas. Selected by the Reds in the first round, the 7th overall in June 2004, of course, out of high school. Had he gone to college, this would be his first year as a professional. Again, a 3-2 to Nady. Ball 4, second walk of the inning by Bailey. Price, the first-year Reds pitching coach, going to come out and try and calm down Homer Bailey in what has been a very rocky opening inning. Got the first batter, Terry Owen, a fly ball to right, then walked Colvin, allowed a single to Lee, Ramirez a line drive to knock in a run, and now the walk to Nady.
You could see the smile on Brian Price's face as he got out to the mound, because he realizes that this is Homer Bailey trying to do a little bit too much. And sometimes as a pitcher, a young pitcher especially, Tom, when your pitching coach comes out, he's got a smile on his face. There's no stress in his response to you. Immediately you take on his persona, and it just kind of calms you down a little bit.
It's amazing how much Price looks like Phil Mickelson, isn't it?
He does.
I mean, it is just extraordinary.
His left-handed game is just not quite up to par.
No. But whose is, right?
Well, there you go.
All right, 2 on, 1 in, 2 out. Here's Alfonso Soriano. And that pitch bounces 3 feet in front of the plate. Bailey trying to retire Soriano for the first time ever. Only 3 at bats, but 3 hits for Soriano against Bailey, including a home run. Much was made last year when Lou Piniella dropped Alfonso Soriano out of that leadoff spot where he had been hitting seemingly forever. He dropped him down to the number 6 spot in the batting order. And that's where he's going to be this year. Lou made that move back in early July last summer. Off the end of the bat, fly ball, short right center. Stubbs there, inning over. A hit, 2 walks, an error, 2 left. Reds come to bat trailing 1-0. Lineup tonight. Opener of this three-game weekend series. Drew Stubbs in center. Orlando Cabrera at short. Joey Votto at first. Neither Cabrera nor Votto were feeling particularly well earlier today. We'll keep an eye on that. Brandon Phillips at second. Roland down at third. Jay Bruce in right. A ladder third of Johnny Gomes, Ramon Hernandez, and Homer Bailey. Against 30-year-old right-hander Carlos Silva. Two very disappointing seasons in Seattle. After signing there as a free agent, was a pretty solid pitcher in Minnesota for 4 years.
Well, as you can see, he's a pretty big cat, 6'4", 250, and that weight will wear out your knees over a period of time. I can remember him being long and lean when I first saw him back in 1999 when I was on rehab. He was an A-ball with the Phillies.
1-1 to Drew Stubbs.
He's always had that good sinker. He's not a big strikeout guy. He just tries to throw sinkers and get ground balls.
Yeah, Lou Piniella jokingly said to the media when Silva showed up in spring training, he said, "I know that Silva's a hard worker, no question about that." But Piniella laughed and added he might be a hard eater too.
He's a big guy, and when you carry that much weight on the mound, his right knee was what went first. And it gave him some problems. Then that affected his delivery. His elbow had issues after that. And then he started having the shoulder problems. And when you get shoulder problems after you've had elbow problems, you're talking about the whole arm aching. And that was his issue in Seattle.
3-2 to Stubbs. And a ground ball foul. Well, Silva really a consolation prize, if there is such a thing, in that Milton Bradley deal. Cubs also saved $6 million, money that helped pay the salaries of free agent outfielders Xavier Nady and Marlon Byrd. But Silva's in line to make a pile of cash the next 2 years, $25 million. But you're going to get somebody to take Milton Bradley and all that he went through with the Cubs. You're going to have to take a risk on the return.
And you're really risking that Silva can stay healthy, whether it's his knee or his elbow.
8th pitch and is it back. And Stubbs, a fly ball into right field, pretty well hit. This ball is off the wall, and Stubbs can fly. This has 3 bases written all over it. And after the ball is bobbled by Colvin, Stubbs is standing at third. Xavier Nady played very little outfield in spring training, trying to get back from that Tommy John elbow surgery, and didn't look very comfortable going back on this ball.
Well, this ball was hammered towards the wall, but even when he started to turn, he looked like he did a pirouette out there, looking right, then looking left, and by the time he got to the baseball, it had already hit the bottom of the wall and was headed back towards the infield.
And man, can Stubbs run. He stands at third with nobody out. And Cabrera drills one into right field. This one caught by Nady, but after 2 batters, a triple, a sac fly RBI, and it's a 1-1 game. Nicely done by Orlando Cabrera. He leads a team with 4 RBIs.
Well, that's the thing that I love about Cabrera. He didn't have the greatest of spring swinging the bat, but when it comes time to make sure you get the bat on the baseball to try to advance a runner or get the ball in the air to drive the runner home, he's been able to do that with some pretty good success, not only here but over his career.
1 in, 1 out. Here's Joey Votto. Quickly down a strike. Votto 5 hits in his first 12 at bats this season, including a home run.
Silva's not going to give you a whole lot of breaking balls, especially with the elbow issue. It's going to be sinker and it's going to be changeup.
The shoulder problems limited Silva to only 30 1/3 innings all of last year. He did pitch winter ball in his home of Venezuela during the offseason, working with former Major League pitcher Wilson Alvarez. That's 3 pitches to strike out Votto. 2 gone in the inning. The Cubs defensively presented by Ford. Colvin in center, flanked by Soriano and Nady. On the corners, Ramirez and Lee, Terrio and Fontenot up the middle. The battery of Silva and Coy Hill But Coy Hill starts behind the plate for the Cubs, and he played a lot last year after the injuries to Giovanni Soto. The Cubs have a record of 61-36 in games started by Coy Hill.
That's amazing. And I don't care who you are, you got to take a look at that. Something's going on. It's not luck.
Phillips, a fly ball into center field to back up Colvin, but will end the inning. But a scoring inning for the Reds, and the one tied at 1. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Homer Bailey, first half, sent back to the minors. Once he came back, much better.
And I think a lot of that had to do with the confidence in Homer Bailey. He learned the split finger, which really helped him on the mental standpoint. I don't know that it helped him so much getting hitters out, but what it did is it made him throw more strikes in the zone down.
Cubs come to bat in the second inning with a ladder third in the batting order. Fontenot, Hill, and Silva. Strike one to Mike Fontenot, 1 of 6 to begin this year. Fontenot trying to hang on to his job at second base. Jeff Baker, once he came over last year, saw a lot of playing time. In fact, Baker started the game, the win, last night in Atlanta. Cabrera races to the outfield, but a half step short, and that'll be a broken bat single for Fontenot to begin the inning.
Talking about getting a base hit by a hair, and Cabrera gets a good break on the baseball, and that ball just evades his glove ever so slightly.
Now switch hitting catcher Coy Hill. Hill, 30 years old, from Oklahoma. Beginning his 4th season in the Cubs organization after signing back in 2006 as a minor league free agent. But he got a lot of playing time last year, his first full year in the major leagues. Came up originally in the Dodgers organization, was traded to Arizona. Played for the Diamondbacks in 04, again in 05. A full year in AAA in 06. The Cubs gave him a chance. He didn't hit much in 07 or 08. But they love his defense and the way he calls a game.
And I think that has a lot to do with that 35 win difference that you were talking about in the stats earlier. You call a good game, the pitchers keep the ball down and don't give up as many runs because of what you're doing behind the plate. That makes a big difference.
Still 1-2 on Coy Hill.
Bailey's just starting to find that release point. He's got a couple of pitches this inning that have been down, but he's still elevating most of them. You just got to find that release point and hold it. Keep that ball down.
Reds and Cubs will play a day game tomorrow. Only a couple of day games on Saturdays. In fact, a total of 3 during the course of the entire year. 2 of them will come in the month of April. I mean, obviously, we have been blessed with unbelievable weather. I mean, arguably the best in the history of the city so far here in this month of April. Temperatures regularly until today have been in the mid-70s, low 80s. Expecting more of the same tomorrow and Sunday. Once May comes around, you can pretty much take it to the bank that Saturday games will be played at night. Struck him out.
Boy, that is a great split finger pitch right there. It looks like a fastball right till it gets to home plate and the bottom drops out of it. And that pitch right there, not the action of the split finger, but the fact that you have to hold on to it longer is really what helped Homer Bailey last year getting the ball down. Look how long he has to hold on to that pitch to make it work down in the strike zone. That's that release point I was talking about earlier. You find that with the fastball, then you got some fun going on.
Carlos Silva squares to bunt. Bunts it at Votto. Has a bobble. Able to recover. He was thinking about second base, but after the juggle, no chance there. He gets the out behind him, 2 away.
Votto's always thinking about second base, and he's always going to anticipate second. But if you do something where you bobble the ball or you just don't get it cleanly, or when you glance to second you don't have a play, you can always plant the foot and make the throw to first base.
Fondo stands in scoring position with 2 away, and here's Terrio flied out to Jay Bruce his first time up.
It's hard to believe, Tom, that Terrio does not have a hit thus far, especially the way we saw him swing the bat in spring training. I mean, he was as hot as you could get. But I wonder if the pressure of Starlin Castro and Jeff Baker, the 2 middle infielders, is starting to heat up here.
1-1 on Terrio. Fondo at second, and a foul ball out of play. And Castro, the young phenom shortstop, likened by many to Miguel Tejada. We saw him quite a bit in spring training. Terrio came out even after he lost his arbitration case this winter and said, hey, look, I've been pretty good there the last 3 years. I'm not about to give this job up yet. And there's always a chance Terrio could slide over to second base.
Right.
But right now he's the shortstop, and he's behind 1-2 to Homer Bailey. Cabrera in the hole, gets up from one knee and not going to get it. That'll be an infield hit for Terrio. Advancing on to third is Fontenot. Boy, just bad luck in this inning for Homer Bailey. A broken bat single by Fontenot, and now this from Terrio.
And I don't know that Cabrera got a real good grip on the baseball, because when he let it loose, the ball went straight down into the ground, and that's very uncharacteristic of Cabrera with his throw. His arm has not lost anything.
Runners stand at first and third with 2 away. Tyler Colvin, the rookie center fielder, walked and scored in the first inning. And another terrific block on a pitch in the dirt by Ramon Hernandez. Bailey has already thrown a whopping 43 pitches through an inning and 2/3 of this game. I'll tell you one thing, you can't complain about the Reds starting pitchers the first 3 games of this season. Aaron Harang gave up 3 runs on opening day. Johnny Cueto, 6 innings, 2 runs, and then spectacular work again yesterday from Bronson Arroyo, giving up just the 1 run.
And when you look at what Arroyo did yesterday, especially right out of the chute with the breaking ball precision and the changeup that he was throwing yesterday, normally you don't see that good of breaking balls and being able to change speeds with that type of location early in the season. But Arroyo looked like he was in mid-season form.
Of course, he got hit on the calf. That line drive off the bat of Colby Rasmus. There was some fear. There goes a runner first to second and fouled out of play. There was some fear that Arroyo might miss his next scheduled start down in Florida the early part of next week, but he felt much better today, and the Reds feel like he'll be ready to go.
Judging by what we've seen, you and I, out of Arroyo over the last 4 years, it takes a lot for him to miss a start. You're going to have to break something.
Well, you can look up the records in his major league career. He's never missed a start, nor has he ever missed a start in his minor league career. That just missed. Bailey wanted that call and didn't get it. But Arroyo will tell you he's never missed a scheduled start, going all the way back to Little League.
He really prides himself on that. When you talk about goals with Arroyo, it has nothing to do with wins or strikeouts. It has to do with making every start and pitching over 200 innings.
2-2 to Colvin. You never know how any game is going to play out. We're only in the second inning, but right now this appears to be a very, very important batter in this game. Knowing Derek Lee is coming up next. 2 outs and a bouncing ball to Votto, and Bailey wiggles off the hook. Reds come to bat in the second inning in a 1-1 affair. If a player hits one of the Toyota signs, that new one we talked about on opening day out in left center field, or the one in deep right center, during our game tonight, Tony Roth of Fayetteville, Ohio, will win the beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. A 1-1 game. Scott Rowland against Carlos Silva to lead things off. Deep in the hole. Theriot lets it fly. What a play by Theriot.
Almost the identical spot that the ball was hit to Cabrera. And Cabrera had to bounce the ball to first. Theriot was able to get the good grip on the baseball. And when he stops on that slide foot, pops him straight up, and he throws a bullet to first base.
That'll bring Jay Bruce to the plate. One hit in his first 12 at-bats to start this 2010 season for Jay Bruce. Strike one from Silva. Reds scored in the opening inning, a leadoff triple by Drew Stubbs, and he was driven in on a sac fly to right by Orlando Cabrera. Cubs scored in the top of the first inning on a walk to Colvin. A single by Lee sent Colvin to third, and Aramis Ramirez with a sac fly to right. Bad luck for Bruce there. Hit the ball right on the nose, and Derek Lee feeds a covering Silva in time. Now the Cubs had the right book on Jay Bruce in that at bat. Wow.
Jay has hit some balls lately that had been right on the screws and no reward for it. And if you hit the ball over there to that man, Carlos Lee, he's got some sprawling arms and he can get after it a little bit.
Johnny Gomes in the ninth inning yesterday, propelling the Reds to their first win of the season with a solo home run off Jason Mott, and the celebration was on. Boy, what a cut there. As they say in baseball jargon, he ain't getting cheated.
No, he's not. Sometimes I wonder if he sees it, he swings so hard.
Got to see a chiropractor after he swings and misses. Mercy. Two down, nobody on, bottom of the second inning. It's 1-2 strikes. Silva to Johnny Gomes. 2-2.
I wonder sometimes about a hitter like Johnny Gomes, why he doesn't move up closer to the plate and bring that foot back up in here a little bit. That way he can hit the ball at any time.
Gone swinging is Gomes. A 1-2-3 inning. Thanks to some great defense behind Silva. We're still tied at 1. Direct quote comes from yesterday's hero Johnny Gomes, talking about his manager, the skipper, Dusty Baker.
You know, one of the great things about Dusty is, you know, he's been in the arena. He's played. You know, he's gone 0 for 12 and 12 for 12. He's been in the World Series as a manager and as a player. I mean, you know, if we haven't done it, you know, he has. If we've done it, he has. So he knows what we're going through, and he understands, and that's definitely awesome to have on our side.
What he's talking about is being able to stay in the lineup whether you're struggling or not. And obviously Johnny had a tough game the game before. He struck out 3 times, and he's got the start the next day and ended up being a good thing for the Reds in the ninth.
First pitch in the inning, and Derek Lee is drilled with a fastball by Homer Bailey, who has walked 2 and now hit about it.
Well, they're trying to go in here, and Bailey a 2-seam fastball, and this baby takes off. You can see where that ball started. It started at the mask of Hernandez and just took a right turn, almost looked like a left-handed slider.
Well, the Cubs have a leadoff man aboard for the 2nd straight inning. And you're right in the meat of this Chicago batting order. Aramis Ramirez knocked in the Cubs' only run with a sac fly to right field in the opening inning. Ball 1. We understand downstairs that we're having some technical issues as far as our telecast in high def tonight. So a lot of folks very hard at work to try and get that corrected. So bear with us. We apologize, and hopefully we'll have it in high def thanks to our friends at H.H. Gregg very, very soon. One ball, 1 strike on Aramis Ramirez. And again, 2-1 blocked in the dirt. Hernandez a legitimate chance, but his throw is in the dirt. Boy, they had Lee with a good throw. But the wild pitch will advance Lee into scoring position with nobody out.
Some awfully good base running there by Derek Lee. As soon as that ball hit the ground and bounced up and he saw it get away from Hernandez, he was gone. And even with the hop, you're right, Tom, they had him dead to rights.
Why all the pitches early on in this game in the dirt from Homer Bailey?
I think he's really trying to find that release point. He was up early. Now he's trying to get the ball back down. And sometimes when you're trying to fight to get the ball back down in the strike zone, you hold on to it just a tad too long, and that's what we're seeing here.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Aramis Ramirez. Struck him out swinging on a high fastball, 94 miles per hour.
High fastball. He had gotten 2 strikes that were knee high out in that same area. Right on the outside corner, he raises the ball up about a foot. And Ramirez tries to make the adjustment down, and the ball ends up being up around the letters.
Almost makes you wonder if one of 2 things happened there to Ramirez as it strike 1 on the outside corner to Nady. Either 1, he wasn't sure how many strikes there were in the at bat, or 2, he got hurt after he swung and missed.
Definitely looked like it was a little different kind of swing.
Well, and he stood around the plate after he had swung and missed for, 3 or 4 seconds. In fact, the on-deck hitter, Nady, I think, was confused. There's a liner into left field, and that ball will sail over the head of Johnny Gomes. Throw goes into second base, and a long single by Nady gives the Cubs their 2nd lead of the game. It's 2-1.
Anytime you throw Xavier Nady a curveball for a strike, this is what happens, and you can put it in the book. He is an awfully good breaking ball hitter, and he has been ever since he came to the big leagues. If you throw it for a strike, he's going to hammer it.
A very shaky start here thus far for Homer Bailey. He's hit a batter, he's walked 2 batters, he's allowed 2 runs on 4 base hits. The 1-out walk in the first inning came around to score. He hit Lee to begin this inning. He comes in to score. 0-2 on Alfonso Soriano, who popped up to Stubbs in shallow center, ending the opening inning. One and two to Soriano.
Tried to get him on a high fastball. He may go back to that spot again, either that or that slider way off the plate.
Fastball up and in, and Soriano gone swinging. Second strikeout of the inning, third in the game for Homer Bailey. Well, get pumped up for Reds baseball. Visit any Greater Cincinnati, Dayton, or Columbus United Dairy Farmers location and receive a half-price discount on Reds tickets with your purchase of a minimum of 8 gallons of gasoline. The offer is good for up to 6 tickets to select games in April and May. Visit Reds.com/UDF for details. Of course, Cowboy, you ought to get some kind of a discount on your regular order in your neighborhood when you walk into UDF.
That's 7
when you have them stuff 7 scoops of ice cream in 1 cup at one time, you'll knock it back.
I do like that ice cream.
Served into left field, a base hit by Fondo. His second hit in as many at bats, and the 5th in the game for Chicago. Well, you can see Bailey really trying to push through this and keep his team in this game.
I think he's definitely a little frustrated that the hits he's given up have just kind of flipped out there, and then when he has hung a pitch, they've hammered it.
Coy Hill down strike 1. At second base, Fondo on at first, 2 outs, 0-1 to Hill. There's a fastball, strike 2. Pitches to put away Hill. Bailey strikes out the side, but he hits a batter, allows 2 hits and a run in the inning. Middle of the 3rd, the Reds are down a run. season. That means another $25 from Shakely for the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. RBI in the Reds' first inning from Orlando Cabrera. And a 2-1 game as the Cubs come to bat. Completing the top of the third. Reds coming up in the bottom of the inning.
That's how you work on your motion over there. You see those kids throwing those rocks? Get that arm up there and fire them out there in the water.
Ramon Hernandez to lead it off, and he's down a strike. Boy, still daylight left here, and you look across mighty Ohio into the rolling, picturesque hills of the Commonwealth. Of course, that's along the riverfront there, and those youngsters will make their way home somewhere around that neighborhood. Out to get it is Terrio. He's made 2 outstanding plays in the game tonight. Boy, the Cubs brought their A game defensively. That is 3 lights-out plays.
You know, you can say all you want about Starlin Castro, but until you do it at this level on a regular basis, like Terrio has done and like he continues to do, I mean, that's putting your body in the air for a pretty long time right there.
Homer Bailey looks at a strike. Well, they had the great play by Terrio to rob Rowan of a hit to begin the last inning. The very next batter, Jay Bruce, hit a missile up the first base line. Derek Lee able to get a glove on it and then snatch it out of the air and get the out at first. And now that play by Terrio again. And a base hit by Homer Bailey. Terrio won't get to that. You know, he didn't show it last year, but it stands to reason that Bailey would be a pretty decent hitter. He's a very good athlete.
I think a lot of it has to do with just slowing things down in your mind, slowing the game down a little bit in your mind, and it allows you to just do things that you naturally would be able to do athletically. And Homer's a pretty good athlete.
So now Drew Stubbs, who tripled over the head of Nady into right field in the first inning and scored the only Reds run. Working a little overtime out in San Francisco. One of your former teams, Cowboy, the team you first came up to the major leagues with, they are in the 12th inning in the Giants' home opener against the Atlanta Braves. That game tied at 4.
Anytime you score one late off of Billy Wagner, you've earned the overtime.
There's another defensive gem. This one from Aramis Ramirez. Boy, the Reds have hit some rockets off Silva, but can't find a hole.
Quickness, and that's why they call it the hot corner, because you don't have time to set up. It's just throw the glove or throw your body and hope you knock it down or you can catch some leather.
Cabrera hits it foul off the end of the bat. Strike 1. Orlando knocked in the only Reds run with a sac fly to right in the first inning. Straight away center field, and this should do it in the Reds' third. It will. 2 great plays in the second, 2 more in the third. Terrio, a couple of gems early tonight, and then Ramirez a step and a dive. Your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers, where you can register to win the Tundra at Great American Ballpark. By JTM, food, family fun. JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Early standings brought to you by Honda in the National League Central Division. Milwaukee and St. Louis will begin a series later on tonight. Pirates surprising the Dodgers, winning 2 out of 3, and Houston swept 3 in a row by the Giants in their home ballpark.
Giants playing some pretty good baseball. 3 in a row against Houston, and then score a run in the 9th off Billy Wagner. Not bad.
Homer Bailey hoping for, quite frankly, needing an easy inning. 64 pitches through the front 3 for Bailey. He's allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, walked 2, and hit a batter. And has fallen behind Carlos Silva 2-0 to begin the 4th. Ryan Theriot on deck, and then Tyler Coleman.
He's still not comfortable with that release point. You can see him. It almost looks as though he's throwing darts on some pitches.
Jam shot roller to Brandon Phillips. Silva retired, 1 away. Ryan Theriot fried to right leading off the game, then had an infield hit in the 2nd.
Bailey is letting go of the baseball. You really want to watch right back here. As long as he can keep that weight back on this back leg here, it allows him to get the arm up here where he needs to drive the ball down towards home plate. And right now you'll see him leak out towards home plate just a little early. That means he's not staying on that back leg quite long enough.
That looked a little better there, at least from a novice eye.
The first pitch was better. You saw the pitch. It was a strike down on the outside corner right at bottom of the knee, the perfect strike area. But what you want to see with Homer is when he stands tall, it's almost like a light pole. When he looks tall and lean as he brings up that knee, that's when he's going to get his best pitch forward.
Did you ever look tall and lean?
Never. No.
Just lean.
Yeah, really. Homer has, once he gets that release point down, it'll come to him in a hurry. That's why the more times he throws that split finger, the better off his fastball is, because the split finger, you have to hold on to that pitch longer than you do any other pitch you throw.
Line into left center field, and Theriot's at it again against the Reds. Theriot, 1-out base runner. Time for our AT&T trivia question tonight. Who are the first and last catchers to win the National League's Rookie of the Year award? So the first one ever to win it, and the most recent. Well, the most recent might be here tonight.
I know the most recent
is here tonight.
It is. He is here tonight. He's not playing.
No,
he is here.
Well, I'm wondering about the first one.
Ever?
I think by the time they started that award, I could be wrong about this, but I think it was back in the 1950s. I'm going to guess Roy Campanella.
Really?
I'm being told I'm wrong. So maybe it started a little bit after Roy Campanella. I mean, for all I know, it might have been Johnny Bench swinging a foul ball back out of play. He came up in what, 1968? Is that the year Bench came to the major leagues?
Did he come in 68?
Yeah, he was up in the booth on opening day with us for a couple of innings, and
well, we know he won it.
Yeah, he did win it. I knew that award wasn't just some award that's been around, you know, seemingly forever.
Like Yogi, Bear or somebody like that.
Yeah.
No.
The award is named in honor in the National League for Jackie Robinson. But they had been giving away the Rookie of the Year award long before it was dubbed the Jackie Robinson National League Rookie of the Year award. And if I'm not mistaken, the Dodgers are still the team that has won it more, had more National League Rookies of the Year than any other team. Good breaking ball there by Bailey.
That's a great pitch sequence right there. He threw the split finger the pitch before, and you see Colvin lean off of it. Well, if he's going to take my breaking ball, well, let me just throw this curveball right in there.
.78 pitches in the game for Homer Bailey, and we have one out in the fourth inning. Now that's a downside, along with a 5 hit, 6 hits now and 2 runs. The hit batter and a couple of walks, but you know, you go back 3 years ago when Bailey first came to the major leagues, and even the following year, and for that matter, when he first was with a big club last year. We don't know how this inning will turn out. There goes a runner, and it's grounded foul. But Cowboy, you pointed out even after the top of the first, when he walked a batter, then gave up a hit, then a sac fly, then walked another batter. That, you know, the Homer Bailey who made his first, say, 27 starts in the major leagues, by now he would have given up 3, 4, 5, 6 runs.
Right. And what he's learned to do is when things aren't going his way, like they did a lot of times in the early part of his career, he would panic. He would try to do too much. And tonight, he's just continuing to battle.
And there, a strike 3 called, a fastball on the outside corner, and Colvin knew it.
Perfect delivery, perfect pitch sequence, in a perfect spot.
They can't do any better than that.
That's about as good as you can stay back on that back leg and drive the ball to home plate. And that was a blistering fastball.
So one more big out to go, and it's the best hitter in the Cub lineup, Derek Lee. Lee, a single to right center field in the first inning, was hit by a pitch and scored in the third, breaking the 1-1 tie. And that is a balk by Bailey.
Bailey's saying that he stepped off before he faked the ball.
It happened way too fast. He's not going to get that call from the umpires. Boy, that is a serious mental mistake there by Bailey.
Well, because a balk is still deceiving the runner, and that was some semblance of deception whether you stepped off or not. It did not look like he stepped off all the way back behind the rubber.
So Now you have a runner in scoring position, 1-0 to Derek Lee. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Well, what a critical error that could turn out to be for Bailey. This one thrown all the way to the backstop, and on to third goes Terrio.
Well, he definitely crossed up Hernandez there. Hernandez put down one sign, Bailey threw another, and after the step off, you can understand that that is shaking up Bailey a little bit. He's going to have to get it back together here quickly. Got your catcher looking for a breaking ball, and you throw a fastball. It's a good thing that was way over his head.
So now the runner stands at third. Lee will get the green light, 3-0. Yep, fouls it away. There's not a lot of fooling around. I'm talking about a couple of veteran hitters in Lee and Ramirez. One of the few back-to-back hitters in many lineups around baseball. In fact, the overwhelming majority. And I don't care what 3-4 hole hitters you're talking about. Very few will swing at as many 3-0 pitches as Lee and Ramirez will.
And for a lot of hitters, you have to prove to your manager that you're going to swing at a pitch that you know you can drive, not something that bounces up there in front of home plate. And also the fact that when it's 3-0, you're going to come unglued. You're not just going to try to tap one over to the right side. 3-0 is a pitch you're looking for something fat that you can hit out.
3-2 now on Derek Lee. Here it comes, and we'll do it again. That fastball 95 miles per hour from Homer Bailey.
Well, it looks like Homer has started to get a little bit more grip on that baseball, and he's really riding that back leg right now. The velocity is climbing and the pitches are starting to get down, but this cat's dangerous.
Base hit into center field, and the Cubs lead 3-1.
You can see Bailey here staying back on the ball, and you see that hip starting to go forward. That's what allows him to get over that front leg on those last 3 fastballs. But the problem is, even though you do everything right mechanically from a physical standpoint, if you make a mental mistake and you think, well, this guy's not going to catch up with my breaking ball, and you throw it right down the heart of the plate, Derek Lee is a good enough hitter to where he is trying to drive the fastball the other way. That's why he was late on the pitch. And he stayed back just long enough to take that curveball and hit it right back up the box. You can see the knuckle up on the breaking ball. That tells you that it's going to be a knuckle curveball. And that pitch is right down Broadway.
Yeah, really, you can look at that pitch. It drives in the run all day long, and you'll see that on highlights tonight and tomorrow. But really, you go back to the balk, and that's where it all began. I mean, you had a runner at first, and then the balk by Bailey. Runner takes off, and there's a drive to straightaway center field, and Stubbs will have room at the track to end the inning. Bailey has thrown 89 pitches. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. It is a 3-1 Chicago lead. win the National League's Rookie of the Year award. The Rookie of the Year award started back in 1947. There you go. Johnny Bench in 1968. We told you Giovanni Soto 2 years ago as a Cub. But Jackie Robinson won the very first Rookie of the Year award, and it was a combined Rookie of the Year from both the National and American Leagues. He won it in 47. Al Dark won it in 1948. Then beginning in 1949, they split it up. A National League winner and an American League winner. 1-2 to Joey Votto, who struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Reds down 3-1. And you got to wonder how much longer it will be before the Reds will have some action in their bullpen. Votto a tapper to the right side, and Fontenot throws out Votto. Silva the beneficiary of some outstanding Chicago defense early in this game. 2 made by Terrio, 1 by Derek Lee, the other by Aramis Ramirez. But 2 very easy and quick outs to begin this 4th inning. Well, Reds hitters not giving Silva a chance to get in any kind of trouble. Of course, you look over his career, and that is his MO. He has outstanding control.
And if you look at what Silva's done so far, all he's really had to do is just throw sinkers and changeups. He hasn't been in a position, except the first batter of the ball game, where he had anybody in scoring position, where he had to use a whole lot of breaking balls or had to pick the corners. Right now, you got a 2-run lead, just fire it in there.
Scott Rowland had a hit taken away on a hard hit ball deep in the hole at short on a sliding pickup made by Terrio, and he's right there again. 1, 2, 3. On a handful of pitches. We go to the 5th. Cubs lead 3-1. Returns to Fox. Albert Pujols and the Cardinals take on Prince Fielder and the Brewers in an early season showdown. Some will see the Yankees and the Rays. Fox Saturday Baseball returns tomorrow, special time of 3 p.m. Eastern. Following this week in baseball at 2:30 in the afternoon on Fox. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Xavier Nady, Alfonso Soriano, then Mike Fontenot against Homer Bailey here in the top of the 5th. Cubs lead 3-1. Nady in his first start of the year has been aboard twice. A walk in the first inning, a run-scoring single to left in the third. And Bailey, a pattern pretty much set all night long, has been falling behind Chicago batters. 2-0.
Micah Owings warming up for the Reds in the bullpen.
You know, normally early in a baseball season, you'll have 2-3 days off, you know, in the first week and a half, 2 weeks of the season. Well, that is not the case for the Reds. They had the day off following opening day on Tuesday. 3-1 on Nady. But will not have another off day until a week from this Monday, April the 19th. Play 3 days in a row to wrap up this homestand, and then 7 straight days on the upcoming road trip to Florida and Pittsburgh. And Nady hit with a pitch. Well, we invite you to join the Reds day after tomorrow on Sunday. The first 20,000 fans through the gates receive a 2010 Reds magnetic schedule. Those things are sweet. And the logo car magnet, courtesy of PNC. Get your tickets now for that game or any game. 513-381-REDS or go to Reds.com. How much longer do you stay with Homer Bailey? He's hit 2 batters. He's walked 2 batters. There's ball 1 to Soriano. And he's knocking on the door of 100 pitches. And we just started the 5th inning as Micah Owings is getting loose, it appears, quickly.
The thing about it is Micah is not used to getting loose in rapid fashion, so you've got to give him some semblance of time. But right now, Homer Bailey has got to tighten it up and make some pitches.
Dusty Baker was talking before the game on Wednesday, the second game of the year. You know, why the change of Johnny Cueto pitching in the second game rather than Bronson Arroyo? He said it's very simple. He said, you know, track record wise, Aaron Harang and Bronson Arroyo pitch a pile of innings. I mean, you're talking about numbers 1 and 3 among all National League pitchers over the last 4 years. That duo in the entire league. He said, and then if I started them that way, I'd have Cueto, a young pitcher, Bailey, a young pitcher, and Leake, who's never thrown a pitch professionally in his career, going on 3 straight days.
Got to give that bullpen a rest.
High fly ball to right center field. Bruce will give way to Stubbs for out number 1, and really that is it is a very interesting point and decision. Because I think everybody and his brother, you know, looked at what Bronson Arroyo did last year, and they said, how in the world is this guy not the opening day starter? He won 15 games. Harang coming off a down year. And Bronson, you know, said, hey, I'm not interested in all the hoopla and that kind of thing. Harang's been down this road before, that's fine. But then no Arroyo game 2.
But when it's all said and done, what Arroyo said actually helped him be able to do what he needed to do in game 3. And Cueto pitched awfully good in game 2. Good enough to win.
Sure did. 6 innings, what, 5 hits, 2 runs? All right, let's see if Bailey here can get down to business. He has thrown 100 pitches in this game.
Well, the last pitches to Soriano are the best pitches that he's made all night.
Trying to retire Fondo for the first time in a game. And gets ahead 0-2. Well, you can see the competitiveness out there in Bailey.
He really can. I mean, the guy does not give in. But there's some place between over adrenaline and not having enough, and you've got to find that rhythm in between that you need to be successful.
He will retire Fontenot for the first time, it appears. 2 away in the inning.
And a good split finger there had Fontenot out in front. And he had to just flip the bat out there to make contact. You can watch Bailey right before he starts to go to home plate. He digs that finger down in there. And that split there really didn't do a whole lot. It was just enough off speed to have Fontenot out in front.
Well, now Bailey trying to get through the 5th. Runner at first, 2 away, and here's Hill, who has struck out swinging twice. 0-1.
This is a point where Bailey has to know he is overpowering Coy Hill. You just don't want to make a mistake in the middle of the area that he's swinging at. And there's no reason at this point, Tom, to throw Coy Hill anything but a fastball. Either up, or down and away.
Not up enough, but a fastball. Hill fouls it away, still 0-2.
Well, Hernandez wanted that pitch down. And Bailey knows that he's got that he's overmatching Hill, but you still have to make a pitch for the strikeout. If he ends it here, he may get another inning.
And he will end it here. So a good bounce back inning for Bailey after hitting the first batter. Retires 3 in a row. After 4.5, Chicago leads 3-1. Hard blast, and that it was off the bat of Johnny Gomes yesterday to end it. 2-1 Red Legs, first win of the year. Reds down 3-1. Gomes will follow Jay Bruce here in the Reds' 5th against Carlos Silva. Bruce hit a rocket up the first base line, but you take a peek where Derek Lee is playing right now. He's only 2 steps off the line, and that's exactly where Bruce hit it. And Silva, a ground ball machine ever since. He's making it look real easy so far here tonight.
Reds fans have some fun in the kitchen with family and friends this summer using JTM beef and chili chicken Philly kits or their beef hoagies. JTM, food, family, and fun. Barely got that out.
Because you were thinking about knocking one of them back.
Yeah, I'd like to see Johnny knock one back.
I mean, you did some major league damage to that Penn Station before the ball game tonight.
I do like Penn Station subs.
What'd you have?
I just had a regular Philly cheesesteak. I didn't even know what they were before I moved to Philly when I played there. After eating Pat's and Geno's and a couple other places about every other day. Kind of get used to liking them.
Oh, lazy pop up here by Gomes. This is easy for Lee. And wow, I mean, every Reds batter going up there hacking in either the first or second pitch, seemingly in every at bat in the game. Now, we talked about Bailey already over 100 pitches. Silva is not even halfway there.
And this
48 of them.
This is Carlos Silva to a T. Fastball, changeup, sinkers, all he's trying. He's pitching to contact. He's not pitching to strike you out. He wants you to swing at the first two pitches.
Silva allowed a triple to the very first batter of the game. He then retired Cabrera, who knocked in the run with a sac fly. And only one Red has reached since the triple by Stubbs. That was a one-out single by the pitcher, Homer Bailey. And there you see the differential. This ball tagged by Hernandez, and it will go to the wall. Hernandez making a turn. He's coming into second base. Here's a throw and a slide. He's in there.
Fastball that Silva tries to run in on the hands of Hernandez, and he drops the head on that bad boy.
Well, now here's a young man, and Jeff, I know you and I are in the same boat on this. Every time he walks to the plate, you get excited. Juan Francisco. Boy, do the Reds have high hopes for this young man. Only 22 years old. Last year, AA, AAA, and the major leagues. Hit 28 home runs and knocked in 100 runs. Now, he'll do a lot of that, a lot of swinging and missing. But you look at his last 3 years working his way up in the Reds minor league system. 25 homers, 90 knocked in. 23 homers, 92 driven in. Then the 28 and 100 last year. Started two and was able to check his swing 1-1.
But if you look at Pablo Sandoval, the outstanding player for the San Francisco Giants, playing on the corners, third and first, he came up with the same type of strikeout numbers that Juan Francisco did, and he shortened his swing and got much better.
Got underneath that one and hits it a mile high in the air. And that'll do it in the Reds' fifth. We go to the sixth. Cubs still lead by 2.
back with you. I'm on the main concourse level behind home plate. And if you get a ticket, these are pretty sweet tickets. But I'm here to give you our Meyer text poll question of the night. Homer Bailey on the mound right now. 3-1 deficit at the moment, and he has his struggles tonight. But we'd like to know, what do you think the over-under is on the number of wins from Homer Bailey this year? We've set the over-under at 12. Text 1 if you think he's going to have more than 12. Text 2 if you think it's going to be under. Text your votes to 37664. 37664. Standard text message rates apply. We'll have the results coming up. And Tom and Cowboy, I bet you overwhelmingly, if people voted before this game with all the optimism, might have voted over. But after tonight's performance, who knows? We'll have to see.
Well, Cowboy, I know that you are already logged in and text in that you believe it's over. And I'm with you on that. I think it'll be better than 12. Micah Owings, meanwhile, takes over on the mound.
He'll have at least 30 starts. And I really believe that we're going to see a lot of ball games like we did towards the end of the year last year. And realistically, Homer should have won 8 of those 9 starts.
Roller down to Joey Votto. He'll wave off Micah Owings, and Silver retired to begin the Cubs' 6th inning. You know, but again, I go back to the point that you brought up initially. You know, I look at a game like tonight with Homer Bailey, and you're talking about a young man who's still just making his 38th major league start. And let's face it, you know, he's been up and down not primarily, he has been up and down through his first 2.5 years in the major leagues. This is the first year he starts a full year in the rotation. So you're going to have games where a pitcher, and especially a young pitcher, you know, they struggle, as you pointed out, with his release point early in this game, mechanics, whatever the case may be. But I think it says a lot about the maturation of Homer Bailey that he still found a way to get through 5 innings and gave up only 3 runs.
And not only that, the last inning that he threw was the best inning that he had as far as control. And I think the only battle that I see for Homer Bailey is handling that adrenaline animal at the beginning of the ball game. And that's not a bad thing. That means you got an animal out there on the mound that's a little too amped up. But he'll get that under control. I'd rather have that than have somebody out there that's scared to death.
I mean, Bailey wanted the ball. We pointed out, you could see the competitive fire in that last inning when a lot of guys would just say, you know, I've had enough tonight. I mean, he wanted that baseball back from Hernandez and was coming after hitters.
And the thing that I found that was very unique is when Lee stepped up there and he went to 3-0. He challenged him with 3 consecutive fastballs, 92, 94, 95, all of which he fouled off. Then he finally got the hit on the breaking ball, but the breaking ball was a mistake. That's the benefit of having young pitchers. You got a new pitching coach, and I really believe that Brian Price is going to make a lot of difference in this ball club, especially when you're talking about the young starting pitchers. He's had a bunch of them, and he's done awfully well with the ones he's had.
Gone swinging is Terrio, so back-to-back outs in his 6th inning from Micah Owings.
Breaking ball from Owings starts on the outside corner and just cuts right off the plate. For me and my money, Micah Owings, for 2 or 3 innings, he's awfully good. He's a competitor. He throws strikes. He's not overpowering, but he keeps the ball down. And in that starting role, you're asking a guy to go 5 or 6, and that's just past where I think his fatigue area is.
Owings last year, 6 wins, 11 losses, an ERA of 5.5 in his 19 starts. But an ERA right at 3 in his 7 relief appearances. And I got to tell you, Cowboy, I know you agree, but for those that have never had a chance to meet this young man, I'm not sure there's a guy on the team, and there are a lot of great kids on this team. I'm not sure there's a young man you root for any more than Micah Owings. I mean, both my kids who have a chance occasionally be around some of these guys, and they're very fortunate to be in that position. Hands down, their favorite player on the team is Micah Owings.
No doubt.
Because, as my son Luke says, he can pitch and he can hit. A freeze cam. Some wildness tonight from Homer Bailey. Hit a couple of batters, had a cross up with his catcher at the plate, and throwing one right by the umpire's ear. But at the end of the day, despite 7 hits, 2 walks, 2 hit batsmen, 11 base runners in his 5 innings, only 3 runs allowed by Bailey. That was a Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. All right, top of the order now. Here in the Reds' 6th inning, trailing 3-1.
This is a point where you would really like to see the Reds make a move. You got your top of your order up there. And this is probably close to the last inning, or at least maybe this one and one more at the most, that you'll see Silva out there.
This first Reds batter I can remember going 2 pitches in any at-bat all night without swinging. And, of course, the next one he swings and on a 2-0 pitch, a 1-hopper down to third. Well, Stubbs had 2 excellent swings, 2 excellent at-bats against Silva, a triple and a liner on a diving catch by Ramirez. But now the 1-hopper to begin the 6th inning. The Giants, by the way, won that marathon playing 13 innings to beat the Atlanta Braves 5-4 on an Aaron Rowan 2-out infield hit, driving in Juan Uribe. Strike 1 to Orlando Cabrera. One of the final earlier today, Colorado in its home opener shut out San Diego 7-0. Jorge De La Rosa the shutout. We saw him in spring training and he looked mighty good.
A lot of strikes and coming up with that changeup. Makes it tough on right-handed hitters. Did Bobby Cox get thrown out in that Braves game?
Yes, he did. In the 13th inning.
Just check.
He had had enough. 2-1 on Cabrera. Pulled a string on him there.
That's a tough pitch to lay off right there. You got a sinker baller that's staying around your kneecaps. You finally see a ball up in the zone a little bit. Your eyes pop open and you take a big hack and it's not there.
3-2 the count on Orlando Cabrera, trying to get aboard for Joey Votto to bring the tying run to the plate. Reds down 2 in the 6th. Foul ball.
And we have seen some ground balls here lately from Silva. When he was going good in Minnesota, this is the kind of ball game he would throw, counting on his defense.
Cabrera by far has seen Silva more than any other Cincinnati Red, both playing in the American League for so many years. 31 career at-bats coming into the game tonight for Cabrera against Silva. 13 hits. That's a .419 batting average. But tonight, a line drive to right, an unofficial at-bat on a sacrifice fly in the first, and then a fly ball to straightaway center to retire Cabrera his last time, and same thing here, it appears. 2 away in the inning.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Cabrera and Ramon Hernandez have played with Silva down in Venezuela since they were youngsters.
Well, Lou Piniella and Jim Hendry, their general manager, have to be quietly bubbling over with joy the way that Silva has thrown the ball so far in this his Cub debut. I mean, there were a lot of question marks, and they're still there. One start doesn't all of a sudden complete an about face. But Silva has had a miserable 2 years with Seattle. I mean, awful, whether it was ineffectiveness or injuries. And the Cubs took him in the Milton Bradley deal and won a spot in their rotation. And here he is working on a 3-hitter through nearly 6 complete innings. Votto clearly has had a very tough time with Silva here tonight. He struck him out on 3 pitches his first time up. And then Votto very weakly rolled out to the second baseman Fontenot, fooled on a pitch down and into the 4th.
Well, he struck him out on that fastball up and in back in the first inning. And the ball that was in that he grounded out on started in. Joey opens those hips up thinking it's a fastball in, and it runs back away from him, and he ends up hitting it off the end of the bat.
Two to Joey Votto. Struck him out, inning over. End of 6 at Great American Ballpark. The Cubs lead the Reds 3-1. Reds. The auction winner and a guest will join Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, and the entire Red squad for a photo shoot at the ballpark on April the 21st. You'll also receive a team-signed framed print of the photo, Reds apparel, 4 tickets in the Champions Club for that night's game. You can bid now at Reds.com/community, and all the proceeds benefiting the remarkable work being done all over Reds country by the Reds Community Fund, headed up by Charlie Frank and his entire staff. What a phenomenal job they have done for so many young people, not just in Cincinnati, but all over Reds country. The Commonwealth of Kentucky and Indiana, Tennessee, West Virginia.
Well, Derek Lee really has a big open stance for such a power hitter. Starts with the open stance and then brings that front left foot back to home plate. That foot right there comes to right here, and it stops, and then he comes towards the pitcher. Makes you think as a pitcher, well, I can pound him inside. You better think again. You can get it in there, but you better not stay in there.
A perfect night for Derek Lee. A couple of hits and RBIs, been hit by a pitch and scored a run. Now, obviously, through the history of baseball, there have been a lot of guys that had open stances.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, the one guy for the big sluggers, you didn't see many of those guys do it. But you tell me if I'm remembering Andres Galarraga, when he came all the way back after breaking in initially and having some big years with Atlanta. You know, his career seemingly was falling apart as Lee has gone on strikes, and then he went to Colorado. He got into that open batting stance, and then all of a sudden, the home runs, the RBIs are piling up. And the next thing you know, you look around baseball, and every year, more and more guys trying that open stance.
Well, what they found out with Andres Galarraga was that he was right-eye dominant, his back eye, the eye that was closer to the catcher. So they opened him up so his right eye could get more of the vision of the baseball. So he could track the ball as it came to home plate. And then just as we saw with Derek Lee, he would slowly close that front leg as the ball came to the plate. It allowed him to see the ball much better.
High pop up into short right field. Jay Bruce is there. And there are 2 away in the inning. Well, tomorrow, NASCAR on Fox moves to Phoenix, where Mark Martin will try to defend his title and take home the checkered flag for the 2nd straight year. Now, coverage of the Subway Fresh Fit 600 from Phoenix International Raceway begins tomorrow at 7 p.m. in high definition on Fox. So I know that many of you will be dialed into that. Cowboy, you're a Southerner, and I know there are great NASCAR fans everywhere. But are you a big NASCAR guy?
I was a little bit to this point, but I was young. I guess I was 10, 12 years old. Talladega 500, one of the air compressors blew up in the infield. It sounds funny, but it was
that doesn't sound good.
Well, it just ended up being a bad deal because Richard Petty's one of his family members was the one that was using the air compressor to fix the tires, and the thing blew up, and it actually blew him up about 30 feet into the air, and the rest is not good.
Nor is that. 3rd Cub batter hit tonight.
That's twice for Native.
Yep.
This pitch is supposed to be away, and it comes right up and in around the front shoulder of Xavier Nady. That's a square pop.
Nady's wondering, what in the world did I do to deserve this? First start of the year for Nady. Of course, he used to hurt the Reds a lot in this ballpark, wearing a Pirates uniform. 4 times now, Nady has been on base. Hit by pitches twice, an RBI single, and has drawn a walk.
And that single hit the wall so hard he couldn't get a double out of it. It came back to Gomes so quickly he had to stop it first.
Alfonso Soriano, the batter, takes on the inside corner. That is the first base runner against Micah Owings after taking over for Homer Bailey beginning in the 6th inning. Had retired 5 in a row until hitting Nady. Now the Cubs have activity for the first time in their bullpen. They have gotten 6 outstanding innings from their starter, Carlos Silva, tonight. That's right-hander Justin Bird getting warmed up. Well, you know, we talked about the Cardinals and issues they have in their bullpen, and we certainly saw it front and center here over the opening 3 games of the season. Now, this Cub bullpen, boy, they've got some major question marks. I mean, a year ago at this time, they were so excited about Kevin Gregg as their new closer. Carlos Marmol setting him up. They had Angel Guzman, who ended up having a great year. Well, now he's out, injured. Of course, Gregg is no longer here. Marmol is now the closer, as Malin Caridad is their primary setup man as a right-hander, and their primary left-handed setup man, the former Pirate John Graybo. In the air right field. Bruce to track it down, and the inning is over. Excellent work by Micah Owings. We'll see if the Reds offense can come to life. They're down a pair as they stand and stretch at Great American Ballpark. Saturday, April 10th, that's tomorrow. Scott's National Lawn Care Day, and learn tips from lawn care professionals. Well, Fox Sports Ohio, it is indeed a family affair. Not only the Reds on the field and in the community, but Cowboy, even on nights when Chris Welsh is not working. He brings the kids. He has his son Mac down here with him, his beautiful little daughter, Gracie. We've had her on TV before. You doing okay, kiddo? So nice to see you. And she brought her friend,
show him the gloves.
Braden Stacy, to the ball game.
That's what I'm talking about. Purple and pink.
That's nice.
I'm digging it.
Drop an early one. Woo-wee! So they're enjoying the ball game with Dad. Has he been a good dad tonight? I mean, you got cotton candy going yet? No. How about nachos? No.
How about ice cream? That's what I like. No ice cream?
Probably a little sushi now down at the UDF, right? Downstairs? No. Huh?
Got to get some food.
Yeah, got to get something. Get on your dad. Tell him to open that wallet. I tell him that all the time when we're on the road. All right, let's see if the Reds can get something going here. First pitch swinging. Goodness gracious. Against a new pitcher, Justin Berg. I mean, you really got to wonder sometimes, Cowboy, where's the game plan?
You know, there are some hitters that come to the plate and swing at the first pitch no matter who it is on the mound. But when you've got a young kid that's really hasn't pitched that much in the big leagues, you got to let him throw a little bit.
I mean, Berg came up at the end of last year and pitched in a total of 11 games. So, I mean, it's not a stretch to say there aren't many of these Reds that have never seen this guy throw a pitch. 1-0 to Scott Rowland. Swung on and fouled out of play, and it's 1-1 strike. Berg trying to get the ball to Caridad and Graybo, the righty and the lefty, and then we mentioned Marmol is the closer. First year full-time closer for Marmol.
Berg, B-E-R-G on the mound, and Bird, B-Y-R-D in center field.
Marlon Berg. And Colvin, by the way, has gone over to right. So the night is over for Nady.
Going to go ice that shoulder down a little bit.
Bird, a big free agent acquisition during the offseason, coming off an outstanding year with the Texas Rangers. I'm sure we'll see him in the lineup the next 2 days. 2-1 to Rowland. Off the end of the bat, a little flare into center field, and Bird will get there. Silva goes 6 innings tonight, allows 3 hits and a run. The run was the very first batter of the game. Stubbs tripled and scored on a sac fly by Orlando Cabrera. Jeff, you and I looked at each other at the end of the second inning after the Reds hit a couple of rockets. Had hits taken away on a great play made by Terrio, and even better play made by Derek Lee, and you thought Reds are going to get more runs than just the one tonight. Well, it hasn't happened yet, and it won't happen against Silva. Silva does not walk a batter. He strikes out 3 in 6 innings. And now Berg has retired the first 2 here in the 7th. First 3, and that's all in the inning. We go to the 8th. Cubs 3, Reds 1.
Ball, you can use it in, and when you set up the ball in, it makes that breaking ball that much better when you go away. And when you can pull the string and throw that changeup and get that much movement after you've been pounding the ball on both sides of the plate with your fastball, well, Carlos Silva has looked like a genius tonight.
Do not fret yet, however, everybody. We talked about this Cub bullpen, and I mean, even those who see this team on a regular basis are extremely concerned about how it's going to play out. I mean, Marmol is one of those guys, when he's throwing the ball like he did for the final out of the win last night, throwing 3 straight sliders. He is one of the most unhittable closers in baseball, but he is also the single wildest pitcher in baseball as far as walks per 9 innings is concerned from a year ago. So still only a 2-run ball game, and the Reds have a couple of cracks at him as Micah Owings begins his 3rd inning out of the bullpen. Into right center field. This will fall in a hit for Fontenot. A 3-hit night for Fontenot, who had 1 hit in the first series of the year.
Fastball, he was trying to get it down, and he left it in. He's trying to get that backdoor breaking ball, and the breaking ball ends up staying inside, and Fontenot just stayed inside the ball. And when you talk about staying inside of it, that's taking the knob of the bat and driving it right towards the pitcher so that when the bat head catches up, it's out in front of home plate.
First base hit against Micah Owings in relief of Homer Bailey. And here's Coy Hill, 0 for 3. Marlon Byrd, remember, came on defensively as part of a double switch, so he is in the 9 spot. Byrd in the on-deck circle. Three runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 9 men left on base for the Cubs. The Reds have 1 run, 3 hits, and error, and they've stranded 2. 1-0 to Hill. And now 2 balls, no strikes.
You don't want to walk this guy. He has barely made contact, and when he did, it was just a weak ground ball to second base.
Out in front of the plate, Owings going to look at second. He'll play to first, so give Hill the sacrifice, getting Fontenot into scoring position, and there's 1 away in the inning. Kroger and the Reds are proud to team up to offer you a great value again this summer. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger Meal Deal, which includes a full-size adult hot dog, a 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, a bag of David sunflower seeds, all for just $7. Can't beat that.
No. And you know that if Lou Piniella was not concerned about his bullpen, he would not be playing for 1 extra run right here. He'd be playing for the downs to try to blow this thing out.
Reds have activity in their bullpen. Logan Andrusik and Daniel Ray Herrera, the duo victimized in that 7th inning, the 2nd game of the year, giving up 4 runs after the Reds had tied the game at 2 on the Cabrera home run in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Is that the tallest and the shortest guys on the team right there?
Yes.
Very good picture.
David and Goliath.
That was an ugly swing by Marlon Byrd there on a changeup that ran all the way across the plate. He was obviously fooled on that pitch.
One and one to Marlon Byrd. Foul ball back out of play. Byrd really, through his first 7 years in the league, was a little more than a part-time player. Some seasons he was even less than that. When he first came up with the Phillies, went to the Nationals, and when the Nationals let you go, you're trying to get your career back on track. Well, that happened in Texas.
Rudy Jaramillo got a hold of him, and he got some confidence hitting in that ballpark in Texas.
1-2 to Bird. Bouncing ball to Phillips. Advancing on to third is Funk, though. They're 2 away in the inning. So now a big out is coming up for Micah Owings and the Reds. You're down by 2. You have just 3 hits in the game. Here's Ryan Theriot. Esmailin Caridad is getting loose in the Chicago bullpen. We'll see him in the 8th. Strike 1 from Micah Owings. Trying to cap off 3 outstanding innings.
Caridad has a tremendous fastball. Not a whole lot besides that. His breaking ball is fair at best, but his fastball has got some get up and go to it.
One to Theriot. 2 hits and 4 at bats to score a run. Fontenot started the inning with a single. They bunted him to second. A ground out advances him to third. And now Owings trying to cap off 3 scoreless frames out of the Reds bullpen. In the air, right field. Bruce is there. What a job by Owings. 3 innings, 1 hit behind Homer Bailey. The Reds come to bat in the 8th, trailing by a pair. On defense, a plays in the 3rd inning after 2 great plays in the 2nd. Hernandez robbed of a hit by Theriot, and then Stubbs a bullet, but a hit taken away on the play by Aramis Ramirez. Esmailin Caridad, hard throwing rookie right-hander, delivers strike 1 to Johnny Gomes.
3rd day in a row Caridad has taken the ball and taken the mound.
Caridad was pitching in Japan 2 years ago. And the Cubs signed him. He went from AA to AAA in 08 as a starter. And they had high hopes for him. He won 13 games. Then last year, started 25 games in AAA. Things did not go well. They brought him to the major leagues. He pitched in 14 games out of their bullpen and was lights out. So This 26-year-old Dominican is now the primary right-handed setup man, trying to get the ball to their closer, Carlos Marmol. Cubs lead 3-1. 2-2 on Johnny Gomes leading off the 8th. There's ball 3. Curry died during the spring, and not sure what you can read into spring training, but one thing he did not do was show much wildness. He only walked one batter all spring, and he's walked his first batter here tonight. It's amazing. You wait to the 8th inning to have by far and away your most patient at bat all night long.
Well, let's hope Hernandez can stay as hot as he has been. He had a line drive out in the 3rd inning and a line drive down the left field line for a double back in the 5th.
There's ball 1 up and away.
Girdad wants to keep the fastball on the outside corner away from every hitter that stands up there. Not going to pitch inside much at all.
Breaking ball away, and it's 2-0.
Now, he thought that he had a strike 3 on the pitch to Johnny Gomes, and he got a little bit frustrated. You could see him snap the ball back from the catcher, Coy Hill, there. That shows me a little frustration for the right-hander, and Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach for the Cubs, is going to come out and have a little conversation and try to calm down his right-hander.
Well, surprisingly, the Cubs have a left-hander. That's not a surprise, getting loose in their bullpen. But John Grabo is their 8th inning guy. And next in line, as far as effectiveness is concerned, is Sean Marshall. Marshall has faced, 13 batters this year and not allowed a base runner? But it's a left-hander, James Russell. He is the son of native Cincinnatian and longtime Major League pitcher Jeff Russell.
James Russell had an awfully good spring training. Reds just need to string some hits together right here and put a little pressure on this bullpen.
The Reds are only down 2. It's 2-0 to Hernandez, and he takes outside, ball 3.
So Caradot thinks that pitch is a strike, and that's a good 6 inches off the plate. Watch Fox tracks here where that ball is shown out there. That's how far that ball is outside.
Well, that one caught the corner. 3-1 now to Ramon Hernandez. Chris Dickerson stands in the on-deck circle. A leadoff walk to Gomes here in the 8th inning. And now a walk to Hernandez. Well, now you have an interesting decision if you're Dusty Baker. You're down by 2 runs. Your team only has a grand total of 3 hits. And you hear the adage all the time, about playing to win on the road and playing to tie at home. I don't know about you, Cowboy. I've never bought into that theory, but it is a theory. I mean, the question is, do you ask Dickerson here to put down a bunt? If he does so successfully, you still have a very slow runner out at second base. And you wonder if it would take 2 hits to score 2 runs instead of just a single.
I think what you have to do here if you're a manager is, what do you think about the bullpens? Do you think you can outpitch him in the bullpen? If you do, you bunt.
Well, he bunts. This could be a hit. Dickerson racing up the line, and he is safe. You knew when he put it down that Ramirez was tardy coming down the line, and Caridad was not going to get there. So that is a bunt single for Dickerson, and the Reds have him loaded.
Watch the bunt here by Dickerson. It's a sacrifice bunt. He makes sure that it's fair, but it's such a good bunt that Ramirez has to come in and make a do-or-die play. The ball bounces. It draws Fontenot off the bag, and now they're going to take care of that slow runner at second base, take Hernandez out of the ball game, bring in Paul Yanish to run, and now you've got speed all the way around the base paths and at home plate with Stubbs coming to hit.
The bases are loaded with nobody out. Stubbs has hit the ball very hard twice in the game. A triple, a line out to third, and a bounce out to third. And it's ball one. First time all night long, this very good crowd at Great American Ballpark has something to get excited about. They want to get more excited.
Cardiac Kids.
High drive and a deep left center field. Is this a grand slam? Yes! Oh, baby, we talked about this Cub bullpen and how you don't throw in the towel going to the eighth inning. First career grand slam for Drew Stubbs. How about that? Cowboy. How are we looking?
It's amazing what you can do to put the pressure on the opposition. A great decision to bunt there, move the runners, but more importantly, what it did is it applied some tremendous pressure on the pitcher, Caradot.
And there's a grounder deep in the hole. Terrio lets it fly. What a play by Terrio. He has had a great night. Just a great night.
Big time quickness from Terrio to make that play. But watch this grand slam swing here. This ball is out over the plate, and it's exactly where Stubbs is looking, because he knows if the ball is out over the plate, he can get it into the air and at least get the sacrifice fly. Not only does he get the fly, he gets the grand slam because it flies all the way to the bullpen.
Now Joey Votto, and he takes up and away ball one. Drew Stubbs. Of course, those two guys were fighting it out for that center field job right there. Stubbs and Dickerson, and both figure to get a lot of playing time. And both an integral part of this 4-run eighth inning. The bunt by Dickerson to load him up. And then right behind him, the grand slam. This one down towards the corner. And that is a foul ball.
Reds keep coming back at this rate. They will name them the Cardiac Kids. Keep coming back in the 8th and the 9th. Wow. I kind of like this. That's team right there. When you see two guys like this that were battling it out in spring training, and here they are doing the victory dance over there in the dugout. That's good teammates right there, boy.
Well, you know, we were talking earlier about Micah Owings and about how many good kids are on his team. And, I mean, you could go right on down the line. But, I mean, you know, you look at the young guys, especially in the outfield. Those two, Stubbs, Dickerson, Jay Bruce. I mean, where are you going to meet three nicer young men than those three guys, right?
You're not.
I mean, I'm not including guys like Nix or Gomes. I'm not excluding them, saying they're not good. They're good guys. I'm just saying for real young guys.
Right.
And Owings, young guys in their, early 20s.
Well, I know when I played for the Cardinals, and this was back in '98, when Walt Jocketty was really forming the heart of that Cardinal club that really started to win some championships. That's what it was about. It was about character and getting guys in there that were playing together.
Caridad fans, Votto. Another guy, Yanish. And again, I am not excluding anybody for any reason. It's not about that.
It's just the guys that come up.
And, yeah.
But it's nice to know that you can bring guys to the big leagues and they come with that gut instinct of playing until you can't play anymore. You don't have to teach them that part. They come with that.
You know, the game-ending home run yesterday by Gomes in just the third game of the year was something the Reds only did one time all of last year. Drew Stubbs hit their only game-ending home run last season. That was against the Giants, you may remember. And last year, the Reds as a team, the entire season, hit a total of 2 grand slams. Here we are in the 4th game of this year, and they have their first.
Well, I'm telling you this, Tom, the comebacks by your ball club late in the game are really things that start to cement your club together. When you have guys that never give up and they continue to pull games out of the hat at the end, you've got guys that really start to bond, because then you start to know that you've got guys on the bench that can contribute, guys that start the game that can contribute, and you got guys out of the bullpen. Even the long man comes in, and what happens tonight? Micah Owings pitches 3 scoreless innings. If he comes in and gives up anything, that doesn't have a chance to happen.
And now Owings, after 3 brilliant scoreless frames, is in line for the win.
Everybody plays a part.
Francisco Cordero will be summoned in the 9th. And the other thing the Reds have done here, and I don't know if it's because they know they're facing a rookie, but they have shown far more patience in this 8th inning than all the other innings combined. They did not have a single walk against Silva. There's an excuse me roller down to Lee, and that'll end the inning. But what an inning. What an inning. 2 walks, a bunt hit loads them up. Stubbs touches them all. Game. Don't want to surprise anybody with this one. But grand slam by Drew Stubbs.
How about the surprise in the bullpen when that baby landed on the top of their heads out there?
Oh, yeah.
Incoming.
So a 4-run 8th for the Reds, thanks to the grand slam from Stubbs after Gomes and Hernandez set the table with walks and the bunt single on a sacrifice attempt by Dickerson. And a couple of changes defensively for the Reds. Ryan Hannigan is now behind the plate. The new shortstop is Paul Yanish. And remaining in the game, out in left field is Chris Dickerson, and of course on the mound trying to nail it down and get his first save of the year after getting the win yesterday is Francisco Cordero. Strike 1 to Tyler Colvin. Cordero off his glove. Phillips there. In time. And Colvin not happy about it.
What a play.
And here comes Lou Piniella. First base umpire Dana DeMuth calling Colvin out.
That is great anticipation by Brandon Phillips. He never gave up on the ball or never assumed that Cordero would make the play. It's a changeup. Colvin hits it off the end of the bat. Look at Phillips coming. He never stops. Gets it on the shuffle and just gives it right to Votto. Well, that's about as good as it gets right there. Watch the bare hand flip all in one motion. And you notice he takes his fingers and takes them right through the grass so he makes sure he gets the grip on the ball. That is big time.
Boy, big time camera work by our crew. That's that new Exmo camera we have this year. Man, were those pictures nice.
Golden pictures for a golden glove.
Ooh, nice. Borrow. So 1 out here in the Cub ninth inning. Reds lead by 2. Derek Lee, a couple of hits, has been hit by a pitch, knocked in a run. You can't say enough about Micah Owings tonight. I mean, Homer Bailey battled. Threw over 100 pitches in 5 innings, but he allowed just 3 runs. He battled tonight. Didn't have his best stuff. But perhaps watching him grow before our very eyes as we did at the end of last season. Then Owings comes in, 3 innings of 1-hit shutout baseball, and now Cordero surrenders a long one to Derek Lee to make it a 1-run game. Boy, it makes no difference whether Derek Lee is in a slump or he's red hot. When he walks into Great American Ballpark, he is Lance Berkman-esque.
Gets a fastball that's up and didn't quite get in where Cordero wanted the baseball, and with that kind of reach, he got to it.
Well, Ramirez trying to tie it with one mighty cut of the bat. Ramirez in his career against the Reds closer 4 out of 9 with a home run. Right after the game on Fox Sports Ohio, we'll break it down on Reds Live, brought to you by Kings Honda in the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. In the air, right field, Bruce with room. Exhale. One more out to go, and here comes Kosuke Fukudome. He will come on to bat. For the pitcher, Karida.
Now you know why, Tom, back in the 8th inning, that Piniella played for that 1 extra run, because he knew that it would mean a lot for that bullpen to at least have an extra run, because they would have needed it, and it didn't happen.
Well, Cordero still has work to do. Boy, there's going to be a lot more bullpen work tonight. 2-0 on Fukudome. Strike down the middle. Fukudome, an extremely patient hitter. They've got Soriano standing in the on-deck circle. 3-1 to Fukudome. Into center field, a base hit. And the go-ahead run will come to the plate with 2 outs in the 9th inning. The Reds Reds last year, when leading at the end of 8 innings, only lost 1 game. 67-1. They're trying to go to 1-0 this year, and it's not been easy. Here's Soriano. And Cordero falling behind ball 1.
And you can be assured Soriano is only thinking about one thing, and that's lift and separate. Cordero had a little juice on that one. 95-mile-an-hour heater.
Boy, he had a pitch to hit right there, and you could see the reaction by Soriano. He would love to have that back.
A few years ago, Soriano can get to this pitch. Now, a little tardy. That extra 2 miles an hour to get it to 95, and he didn't quite get there.
Slow roller left side. Roland can't make the play. He had to go a long way to get there. The inning now continues for Fontenot.
Roland was coming thinking he was going to go to second base and cut right in front of Giannis. I don't think he realized that Giannis was going to be there.
Fontenot 3 singles and 4 at bats. He had a hit in the second, a hit in the third, fly to left in the 5th, and then singled against Micah Owings. The only hit Owings allowed in 3 innings in the 8th. And again, Cordero falls behind. A home run with 1 out in the inning by Lee. After a second out, consecutive base runners reach. A hit by Fukudome, the error by Roland. In the hole, it's short. Giannis, and can't find the handle.
Oh, wow.
The bases are now loaded. And Chad Tracy's going to pinch hit.
Well, you talking about snake bit in this inning. Giannis comes up with a baseball, and it just comes out of his hand. Gets there, makes a great play. Well, Cordero will have to earn this one tonight.
Here's Chad Tracy, his first year with the Cubs, and looks at ball 1. Tracy initially came up with Arizona, had a couple of very good years for them. Injuries have slowed him down in recent seasons. Giannis charged with an error on that last play. They're loaded with 2 away in the 9th. 1-1 to Chad Tracy. Fukudome is the tying run. The lead run is Soriano at second. A check swing. Cordero makes sure, and the Reds have won it.
Wow.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty, but the fireworks are in the air out in right center field as the Reds get a grand slam from Drew Stubbs in the 8th inning. And beat the Cubs, hang on to defeat the Cubs by a final count of 5-4. A gutty effort by Homer Bailey. Great work out of the bullpen by Micah Owings, who gets the win. And Cordero gets his first save of this season, sending the Reds to a 2-2 record on the year. I I said exhale on the fly ball by Ramirez. Now you can really exhale. You might need help on the inhale part.